Good evening, everyone. It's always a pleasure to um, share these amazing teachings that Phuntsok has devoted so much of his life to sharing with us. Um, for those who don't know, uh, it's always customary to just give context on exactly what these teachings mean. Phuntsok has been sharing these teachings from his home for the last 15 to 20 years, and spent a large part of his life as a Buddhist monk. And I'm always so grateful for um, the opportunity to host these teachings. Um, Today's teaching is going to be on interdependence. And I'm just going to quickly read the email. Okay, so it goes, Hi, this week we will expand on the last session and go a little deeper into the interdependent nature of reality. Reminder, Buddhism posits three fundamental questions, qualities, or marks of reality: impermanence, emptiness, and interdependence. Although this week we'll explore interdependence, let it not go unnoticed that interdependence is inherently connected to impermanence and emptiness, as it is with all things. Last session, we learned that all these things, every single thing, is a composition of other things, that somehow impossibly everything is composed of constituents and that those constituents are themselves composed of constituents, that there is no thing that stands on its own, separate from anything else. The Buddha did not come to this understanding through philosophical deduction, although it is philosophically sound and beyond reproach. The brain agrees that this deduction entirely, it does not have much separate for it. He instead understood that through mindful, meditative, experiential inquiry into the nature of his personal experience, through his somato-meditative observation of being, he delineated a series of stages known as the 12 links of dependent origination, which map our basic experience of the nature of reality. Interestingly, it is not the brain we need to onboard, but the mind body. Of course, yes, of course, you could experience them any, yes, of course, you could, you could, of course, could not experience them any more deeply than you already do in every single moment of your life, as they are life unfolding through your perpetually and unfolding through you perpetually. And you are an ocean in a drop of dew. All the universes in a thin sack of blood. Uh, please excuse my pronunciation of this. Jalal al-Din Muhammad Rumi. But you can bring conscious awareness to them. Please join us this Thursday to bring awareness to our interdependent natures. In Love and Tapestry, Phuntsok. Just to give you a broad context on how the teachings go, there's going to be a teaching, a meditation followed by a teaching, and then a period for question and answers at the end. Please note that these teachings are generously given by donation, so you are not like you're not required to make a donation, but if you feel that that's a way to contribute that connects with you, please feel free to donate. I will share the link in the chat. And without further ado, Phuntsok, please take it away.
Thank you very much. Nice job. Right, so we will begin the way we usually begin, with a meditation to set our intentions and bring ourselves present. Just hold in your mind the intention to enter meditation, and you will have what you might call a sense of what meditation is. So don't let the intellect grab onto it and mess with it. Just stay with that sense and allow the different dimensions of you to respond to that, the physical, the energetic, the emotional, and so forth. And as you stay in the center of these responses, have a sense of openness where you allow communication from those different parts of you to give advice. The physical parts asking you, arrange your posture this way, arrange your legs this way, and mindfully, consciously make whatever adjustments you feel you need to make. And as you're making the adjustments, notice how the adjustment is aligning you. It is creating the condition for you to begin to enter and taste meditation. A sense of calm is descending and enhancing. Sense of pleasantness is descending and enhancing. And other experiences are occurring also that will become clearer and brighter and stronger as you go deeper into meditation. And eventually you arrive at a point where you feel a sense of physical confidence. Let that be a sign to you that the posture, the physical body is ready. And if you're not there yet, then just stay with the body, keep listening. And when you feel the need to make an adjustment, do it mindfully until that sense of physical confidence is palpably present to some degree. Your legs give you stability. Your spine gives you alertness. Your shoulders and arms give you evenness. The head and neck give you a sense of being centered. Mouth, teeth, tongue reminds you of naturalness. And the eyes remind you of ease and rest. And for the eyes, resting can be completely closed, slightly open, halfway open, or even staring straight ahead. Whatever feels like resting, that's the one you adopt. And because the physical body is approaching meditation and you're bringing awareness to the signs, it helps to bring in the other parts. So you begin to notice an energetic sense of approaching meditation. Become aware of the breath, participating. A calming is descending on the breath. A pleasantness is descending on the breath. Welcome them. And this becomes like a magnet, drawing the mind into this experience of calm and pleasantness. And you begin to have a palpable experience of the mind itself, in some degree, experiencing its own sense of calm, its own sense of pleasantness. Now, come to the breath without rejecting the body, without rejecting the non-breath, but let the attention just mainly stay with the breath. So as you breathe in, you simply know I am breathing in. As you breathe out, you simply know I am breathing out. You're present with whatever is happening. And the breath again begins to shift, begin to change its behavior, showing you that the sense of meditating is strengthening. The calm is becoming calmer. The pleasant is becoming more pleasant. Until you get a sign from the breath of a sense of alignment. And when that sign comes in, you strengthen your determination to enter meditation with a nice deep breath. Gently, fully through the nose, breathe in. Hold the breath for a few seconds while you relax. Let go of tension here and there that you're palpably aware of. And when you're ready, release the breath. And as you're releasing the breath, it's like you're returning to natural state, letting go, letting go, letting go in the sense of need to control, letting go, and experiencing deeper that calm and pleasantness. And at the end of the breath, stay, release the breath, leave the breath alone, let the breath return to its own rhythm, and just stay where the breath took you. Notice the calm is calmer in the body, calmer in the mind, calmer in the breath. The pleasantness is more pleasant in the body, more pleasant in the breath, more pleasant energetically, more pleasant in the mind. Rejoice. And some of you probably are already experiencing inner experiences, inner sensations. Either visions are starting to show, colors, shapes, or inner sounds, some sound that you know it's not in the room, but you're hearing, or some sort of tactile sensation in the body. So a sense of temperature or pressure or magnetism moving in the body or being present somewhere. That's clarity and radiance. Immediately remind yourself that's clarity, that's radiance, and rejoice. And staying here with the intention to go even deeper, we'll take 2 more deep breaths. So be aware of where you are. Notice the calm, notice the pleasantness, notice the sensations pointing to clarity and radiance. With the intention to go even deeper, take a nice deep breath. Again, through the nose, breathe in. Hold. Relax. Notice the points of tension in the shoulders, in the hips, wherever they may be. Let them go. And release the breath. And as you're releasing the breath, feel yourself going deeper into that calm and pleasantness, going deeper into that clarity, deeper into luminosity. Sensations are getting stronger, more vibrant, more present. Rejoice. And just living the breath alone again, noticing the signs, rejoice, and get ready for the 3rd full conscious breath, staying exactly where you are with the intention to go even deeper. Take a nice deep breath, breathe in, staying as you breathe in, staying as you breathe in, staying as you breathe in. Hold and release. And as you release, feel it happening energetically, physically, emotionally, mentally, going deeper into the calm, deeper into the pleasantness, deeper into clarity, deeper into radiance, deeper into collected attention. And at the end of the exhalation, and stay there, deliberately stay. Notice how, with the intention to deliberately stay, notice a sense of skillfulness taking place automatically, physically, energetically, and with the breath is somewhat behaving differently so you can stay. The mind is sort of organizing itself somewhat so that you can stay. Notice that and rejoice. Without elaborating, just have a sense of whatever is present that is connected to what you call you, the physical sense, an emotional sense, an intellectual sense, identity sense. And notice that you are in a space, in an environment that you can hear, that you remember that shape and colors position there, and you can sort of feel the temperature of the space. And there are other layers of reality that you can, if you allow yourself, you can be aware of. It has a certain energy to it, a certain vibration to it, a certain emotional uh, quality to it. Just let yourself be aware. And all this is, they're all connected. You're connected to it through the vibrations coming to you. You're connected to them through the vibrations that you are radiating. And try to understand there is something even more fundamental that all these things are but expressions of. You are expressions of that. They are expressions of that. Something fundamental, something not yet you, but you, something not yet that, but is that, is makes that possible, makes you possible. That fundamental layer pre your body, pre your mind, pre your emotions, pre your understandings, pre your conceptual frameworks, pre your identity, pre being in an environment, pre all these things. And wishing to intimately know this, intimately have awareness of this fundamental pre emergence. You call forth a form that you can feel that you have a connection with, that can have a sense of directly pointing to it. And let that form appear is your capacity, your own capacity to understand, your own capacity to put into immediate application understandings that you gain. So reality doesn't feel like a stranger anymore, or you don't feel like a stranger in reality anymore. And to that which will make it possible, which will make the understanding arise that needs to arisen, to arise, take refuge, express gratitude, express trust. Think of those that you are able, through your relationship with them, you are able to make contact with palpable love and compassion, and wish for this magical way of relating to have no barriers, to be able to extend as powerfully as it is present. And out of loving and compassionate concern, wish deeply to understand this capacity to understand that has a sense of outside in front of you, bring it into your heart. And you're feeling ready, take a nice deep breath. Release. And as you're releasing it, deliberately reconnect again with your environment. Notice the temperature of the room. Notice the feel of the cushion, your seat. Notice the sounds that are present. Okay. All right. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining and participating in sharing of the Dharma, sharing of what is of um, importance and meaning for us. Okay. All right. Let's begin with what's the purpose of the teaching on dependent origination? The teaching is called Paricicca Samutpad in Pali and Sanskrit, Tibetan Tendel dependent origination. Okay. And why 12 links? Okay. And the way to why we are even approaching this, we have to understand why why is there even such a thing as the teaching called dependent origination and showing links. It is answering something, okay? Whenever you find yourself, whatever is going on in life, and there's a tendency of the mind to sort of fixate. There's a tendency of the mind to sort of come to a conclusion that that's it. This is what things are. A kind of giving up, so to speak. Okay, and it could be where it could be a wonderful experience that is taking place, or it could be an awful experience that is taking place. But when the mind is coming to the tendency of sort of negating everything else and looking at the immediate experience as though that's all of reality and there's nothing else. It is what you might call crystallizing a moment, trying to freeze a moment to make it stay as it is. And it could be a wonderful experience or it could be an awful experience. Right? If we just stop there, you could say just going through the motion without investigating any further, then we would be sort of not really meeting reality. We think we are meeting reality, but we're not meeting reality. What is it that we are meeting? We are meeting a construct. We want to freeze the moment, and we want that frozen moment to continue on moving forward. And this frozen picture that we have, the mind believes it to be that's it, that we are holding onto reality. We have made intimate contact with reality. And this instinct, there's nothing wrong with the instinct of wanting to make intimate contact with reality. That is profound. The problem comes when instead of allowing reality to present itself so that the intimate connection can be experienced, it is accompanied by an like you already made up your mind that it must be this. It must be some static thing. And once we believe we have found that thing that should be the static thing, we try to hold on to it. So the tendency wanting to have an intimacy with reality is noble, but we have to be careful of what is it that we are projecting to be the thing to meet. Okay. You can sort of see this in a relationship between two people where one person is sort of looking for some sign that tells them either grab onto this or reject this. And everything else that is being presented, they're sort of like being dismissed. And because they're being dismissed, so that is reality, that is what is being presented. So the person is not really connected with the person. They're stuck in their mind looking for a specific sign. So because they are convinced that is the real person. And when I make contact with that, then that's what I'm gonna relate with. So if they're expecting the person is someone I should have a wonderful relationship with, or someone I should have a distance relationship with, then once that sign appeared, which is something that is in flux, right? It's like one wave shows up and then person take a picture of the wave and it's there it is. That's what the person is. That person is such and such. And then and that's where clinging comes in. You try to grasp onto that wave. And because we are trying to grasp onto that wave, and since the very nature of the wave is not something that's just static, it's something that's constantly moving, that's where we end up with dissatisfaction. Okay. And where did all this come from? First, we have to, so there are two presentations of the 12 links. There's what you might call the classic uh, um, mundane dependent origination, 12 links. And there's what you might call the transcendent links, dependent origination. One leads to samsara and the other leads to nirvana. It's still the same sort of linkage. And the fact that they each have 12 doesn't necessarily mean that the 12 is static. It's just easier. Can you imagine if they say, okay, the number is unlimited, start counting. All you'll be doing is just counting and never get anywhere. But if you can just sort of like make it into sort of 12 a general presentation where each one is in itself a complexity. So each link is a complexity. And they are just, the main point is to understand that we live, a reality is a web of relationships. It's a web of connectivity. And that's what it is, a web of connections. Okay. So whenever we witness and experience any kind of experience, we are witnessing something emerged from a web of connectivity, and something that is itself a continuation of connectivity. So it's not like a bunch of things came together and then they created a static thing. But the thing that has emerged itself is still the web continuum. It's still a continuation of connections. Okay? All right. So the famous one that is known for the dependent origination is the one leading to samsara. And that's where we are. So that is very important for us to understand. We must understand how we got here. And samsara is not, don't think of samsara as some sort of abstract. Okay, it is whatever you are experiencing. That is whatever unenlightened experience you're having, that is samsara. Okay? Whether it is psychological, whether it is social, whether it is physical, mental, emotional, however, whatever experience you're having that is not connected to some enlightened experience, that is samsara. Whether it's your mortgage, whether it is your career, whether it is your family, whatever it is that you're experiencing, and you're experiencing it in a non-enlightened way, that is what samsara is. Samsara is not a physical universe that you happen to bump into, that you happen to drop yourself into. Okay? So we understand that. So this experience of reality, this experience of existence that is referred to as samsara, how is the web of reality meeting to create this experience of reality called samsaric experience? Okay. So in a general sense, it begins with misunderstanding. Misunderstanding of what? It's not that you have to go to college and then they present you some thesis and you misunderstand it. And then boom, the college created samsara for you. Okay. It's life itself. And whatever experience that is going on, physical, relational, social, whatever is going on, you're angry, you're not angry, you're happy, you're not happy, whatever is going on, there's a misunderstanding of it. And this misunderstanding isn't just something that's just waiting outside of reality. It's not some abstract. It is part of reality itself. It is, in a way, because we are part of the web of reality, whatever we are doing physically and emotionally, mentally, it is, in a way, interacting with the web of reality. And in its in this understanding of reality, which is misunderstanding reality, reorganizes how we will experience reality. Okay? So this misunderstanding sets up a chain of events. And that's why this is called the first link, the starting point for samsaric experience, misunderstanding. And don't think the misunderstanding that they're talking about is you don't understand Nagarjuna's treatise on the middle way. That is not the misunderstanding they're talking about. Okay, whatever experience is happening right now, whether it's the text that you're reading, whether it's the idea in the text that you're reading, whether it's your own experience that is happening, your own emotion that is taking place, your own thought patterns that are taking place, the way you're relating with someone, the way someone is relating to you, misunderstanding it will shape how you will experience reality. Okay? So misunderstanding is not a nothing. It is a big thing. Okay? So this misunderstanding is linked to what is referred to as the second, it's called samskar. It's like more like potential. But it collects. So let's put it this way. There's the field of reality, which is pure potential, not yet shaped into anything, right? The field of potential, right? Not yet shaped into something. Now, understanding how we relate with it, that relating is interacting with it. It's interacting with the field of reality. The misunderstanding shapes reality, shape that field into a possible emergent experience. Okay, that's why in the Tibetan tradition it is referred to as immature karma. Okay, so a potential that is set for a particular experience, but is not quite ripened yet. Okay, so misunderstanding begins that way. Right? It begins to shape the very fabric of reality into a possible experience, a definite possible experience, you could say. It's like directing. It's like uh, you make a detour, and then you're gonna end up meeting what's over there, and you're going in that direction. So that's the potential to meet that. Yeah? And that potential to have an experience. Now it needs a set of other emergence for that potential to be fully realized. And this will help us a lot in our finalized sort of state, or the appearance of finalized state. I'm a human being. I have 5 senses: eyes, ears, nose, and stuff like that. And my eyes are able to see this spectrum of light waves. Light, is that called right? You put spectrum, right? And your ears also have this spectrum of what sounds they can hear, pick up, and so are the other ones. So you could say in that immature karma, the second link. So that is the experience that we have sort of uh, uh, molded the pure potential to be. And it requires a certain degree of subjectivity to engage it. Subjectivity meaning being able to see it, being able to hear it, being able to smell it and taste it, and so forth, right? So it will have a certain color, it will have a certain shape, it will have a certain, and all these are just potential. Okay, so you could say the second link is potential experience in a very general way. Mm-hmm. And you can say, because you're having a conversation with a friend, with a partner, and not you, of course, them, they misunderstand something. That misunderstanding is setting, you can feel it, they're setting themselves up. They're for the kind of world that they're going to experience from you. What kind of words they're, so that misunderstanding is preparing the mind to to hear certain words, to see certain actions, to have certain emotional responses from you. So that misunderstanding it creates that kind of potential. Okay, that's the potential I'm referring to here. All right. So that potential now has a series of things that come after it also. Right now it's just potential for a general experience. And for that general experience to be finalized, there are details that are needed. So uh, uh, that's what the next links are there for. What kind of details will be at the stage of adding details? So you have the misunderstanding of the immediate experience, and then this misunderstanding be, creates molds reality for a particular kind of experience. That's the second link. And the third link is, and this is for a long time, the third link being the third link sort of, I found it, excuse me, it took me a while to get a grip of it until I had to listen to my teachers teaching many times. Even though the 12 links of dependent origination is presented in a way, the first one is the second one is the third one is the third, because that's how you study it in the monastery. What's the first, the second, the third, what's the third? Okay, now you got it, go home. What does the first mean? I don't know. But the first was this. Okay. But when you really try to understand what is it that remember, it's talking about your reality. It's talking about your world. So it must have there's something about each one of them that actually is pointing to your own world, your own reality. Okay. And the third link is consciousness. But it's still a potential. Not quite, it's not like it's not conscious in the sense of I'm aware of this, I'm aware of that. Okay. And you can understand this when you're in that having a conversation with that person and that person misunderstands you, then their consciousness is arranged in such a way for them to begin to be aware of certain things. There are certain things that you will say because they are already preparing to only hear or be aware of certain things that will pass them. Oh, I didn't hear that. I didn't see that. You didn't say that, because the misunderstanding has limited their consciousness as to what they can be aware of. So that's the consciousness potential. Misunderstanding, experience understanding, and now begin to add detail. Awareness potential. It creates a particular awareness potential. Excuse me. And the next one is it's the most difficult one. I kept looking for better translations, but Namarupa, name and form. It doesn't matter how many times I go back to the, the Sanskrit or the Tibetan and then translate it. It doesn't. It refused to have meaning for me. So what is it? Remember what we are talking about. Misunderstanding is uh, uh, interacting with pure potential, the field of reality, to create a particular experience. And for that experience to be finalized, there has to be an awareness of it. So there's a limit to the kind of awareness that you will have. And name and form is what you might call identity. That's when, and still, that's like the point where we arrive at it is this, it is that. Where, because of the misunderstanding that person has about you, and their consciousness is now primed to see things, to validate. And as soon as they see the slightest hint of it, the slightest appearance of it, then they go at it. So what they have, what they are grabbing are the name and form, the identities, the signs, the signs that sort of validates the misunderstanding. Okay, like someone says, you are just be very very simple. You are a bad person. You harm me, and the consciousness is not primed to look for signs for definite things, definite words, definite things that will come that will say, oh yeah, see, you are harmful. Okay? So that's name and form. And name and form is also what you might call the vehicle of experience, the environment, the internal environment and the external environment that will help that will help for that experience to be finalized. Okay, so name and form is it's name and form. Form means concreteness, materiality. Name means the kind of mind. Name refers to mind, and form refers to body, but not body and mind, but potential for body and mind. Mind in sense of the kinds of thoughts that will be prominent, the kind of thinking that will be habitual, and the way you will carry the form, the kind of external validation that you will be looking for to make. Remember, the second one is samskara, volition. It's setting up for an experience. So this is now creating the details for that experience. It's like you have an idea, and then the plan, the steps for that idea to become to materialize. Okay, like the conceptual idea, and then the actual step-by-step plan. That's the name and form. The step-by-step. Okay, it's going to be this. It's going to be that. Okay, and now after name and form, uh, 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 it's called the the senses. Okay. Now, all these you can almost see that in the womb. Sometimes name and form is presented as the body and the mind being shaped in the womb, and the body and mind is being shaped by the the uh, the the consciousness that has the karmic connection for that body and mind. Okay, so it is being shaped, the form, the kind of mind that it will have, the kind of thoughts, the kind of habits that it will have. That's the name and form. Uh, 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 the six senses will be, of course, you know what the six senses are, but mainly the limits. And the limits I'm referring to, not necessarily if you look at it biologically, right? If like go in the realm of biology, there are certain animals that don't have any sight, right? So you could say the consciousness for that experience, when it had no need for sight. And there are animals whose sight are able to see, things that humans cannot see. There are animals who can hear things that humans cannot hear. Okay, so that is, you could say, that's where the six senses come in. Okay, the particular mind body, sometimes called mind body complex, name and form. That's it's the best translation that people can have of that thing. The mind body complex has its ways, its means of relating with the world through the senses. Okay, so that tells you And if you sort of look at biology, that will give you another thing. So six senses are not like, that's it. There are no other things to be aware of. There might be, it could be that the arrangement of that pure potential could be in such a way that we have 12 senses and we have a mind body that can support in 12 senses. Okay. So the thing is to understand here, six senses is not like a fixed thing. Like once you get to six, that's it. There are no more. That's why we understand that the six senses, that itself is a result of a precondition. And it's because of the experience that misunderstanding has prepared to experience. And six senses are the means to sort of validate that misunderstanding. Okay, so that's the six senses, and the six senses are the means of relating, means of relating with environment, and the means of relating with identities, means of relating with emotions. Okay, that's what the sixth sense is about. Okay, and the thing is, all these appear to be isolated. They all seem to be almost like their own world. They seem to be very objective. They seem to be very objective in the sense that the eyes are perceiving only what is there, and the eyes just happen to perceive it. It doesn't seem that what the eyes are able to perceive was preconditioned by the understanding, preconditioned by the experience, the experience that is set up to be experienced, and that what kind of awareness that you will have, and what kind of mind-body complex that will support that kind of awareness, and what senses are needed to support that kind of experience. Okay. Now, when you have the six senses, through the six senses, we have an experience called contact. It seems like the eye make contact with something. It makes contact with light. And then through contact with light, it is able to discern colors and shape. The ears make contact with sound. It is able to discern pitch, loudness, direction. And you know the rest, right? It seems like the sound is already there and your ears just happen to be picking it up. All the colors to be seen are already there, and your eyes are saying, well, I'm seeing, my eyes are picking that one, my eyes are picking that one. And it seems like that's it as far as colors are concerned, as far as sounds are concerned. Okay, and the rest. And through contact, that's when the next link comes in. So far we're up to link number misunderstanding, potential for experience called samskar, a consciousness, and consciousness gives you what is referred to mind-body complex. I like that one better than name and form, even though name and form is a more direct translation of it. It just, unfortunately, doesn't make much sense. And then number 6. Yes, that's where we are. Thank you very much. We are now up to number 6. Number 5 is the sense doors. And then through the sense doors, we make contact. And making contact, remember the misunderstanding, everything exists outside of me. That's a misunderstanding. And then now reality is being shaped to sort of give a sense of affirmation of that, validate that. Now we make what we experience called contact. The thing made contact with me. The light made contact with me, the sound made contact with me, and touch and so forth. And through contact, Vedana, the next step. Okay, so and let's stop a little bit at contact, right? Now we have a bit more sophisticated understanding of biology, especially me with my eyes, my experience that I've had lately about eyes. It's a complex dependent origination. There's the eyeball, and the eyeball has it's itself a complex condition of things. You have the mirror inside the eyeball where the light is the image of the image is reflected. And you have the lens through which the light comes in. You have the eye muscles and all those kinds of things. You have the blood vessels and all those kinds of things. All that creates what we call seeing. And it seems from the experience that what is appearing is what is there. Entirely what is there. And because of my beautiful eye experience, I can tell you it doesn't always appear that way. With this eye, for example, everything goes like this. So if that's how things are, then everything is bent in the middle. And this eye has a little fog in it, so it's like you're all in fog or something. Okay. But so now it doesn't mean that when you're seeing something, you're not seeing something, but to understand that the image that appears is a condition of things. That's the whole teaching of dependent origination. Wherever you find yourself, understand you have encountered a complexity. You have encountered a whole net of things coming together, and not just coming together and they make something and they go away or they disappear, but a continuous coming together of things. When whatever you are experiencing, whatever you are picking up, you're picking up an infinite web of conditions coming together. Okay. So now we are at Vedana. Vedana is feeling, and feeling, unfortunately, is the bad translation of Vedana, because it's not feeling in terms of emotion. It's feeling in terms of between going how much you like it, how much you don't like it. Okay, it's a pleasant feeling. It's a feeling. It's an awful feeling. So that's the feeling that they're referring to. Okay, and then it has to do with to what degree of this experience will make you return, or what about the degree of the experience that will make you stay away. That's what that's the phenomena that is being referred to with the word feeling here. With your contact, after that contact, because of that contact, will you want to continue the contact? You want the contact to continue, or do you want the contact to stop? Or you don't really care if the contact is there or contact is not there. Okay, so that's what Vedana is about. And Vedana is extremely important because this is where we have the first validation of what appears to be the first place or the first opportunity to really strengthen the misunderstanding. Remember that your friend misunderstood you, and they're already set up to look for faults in what you're saying and what you're doing. And everything that you're doing and you're saying, you're explaining yourself, for some reason, they're not hearing anything else. You probably are apologizing and they're not even hearing the apology. And then you say a word that could be interpreted in different ways, or you do an action, you say, and say, oh, there it is, right there. I've made contact with what validates my understanding of you. Okay? And then because of that contact, it's something that's see, from you comes bad experiences, and I just made contact with a bad experience coming from you. And that's grasping. Okay? So depending on the experience, the term that is used, so you have two different terms, right? And the way my teacher translates them into English, it helps to understand it. Okay, it says craving and strong craving, desire and strong desire. Okay, so they're usually translated as craving and grasping. Now, the craving seems to be like when you encounter something pleasant and you want to continue to have it. But it's not necessarily talking about just nice experiences that you want to continue to have, but rather meeting an experience and feeling that you're validated with your earlier understanding, and you want to continue with your understanding of it. That's the meaning of craving here. Okay? You want to continue to validate what your understanding of the situation has always been. Okay? Because it would not make sense if the contact you made was something unpleasant, and you want to have no, you don't want it, you don't want to have anything to do with it. You have aversion with it. So they should have said, which one? Number 8 should be either craving or aversion. It doesn't say either craving or aversion, it just says craving. So it means you're holding you set yourself up in such a way to perceive through your senses what will help you validate and hold on to your previous understanding. So craving here could be like holding. Okay, holding. And the next one is grasping. Grasping is when the holding becomes, so you could say craving is like there's some sort of agency taking place, or a sort of intention to hold. It's like there's a sense of participating, conscious participation. Grasping is when the holding has become so second nature to you that there's no need to consciously hold anymore. It's like unconscious holding. Okay, grasping becomes habit. So there's contact, and there's a moment where you can evaluate the experience and notice what habitual patterns are coming up. When because of the habit of feeling validated, that habit energy is strong, it comes up. When you sort of reify it, it strengthens the grasping. It makes the grasping, so you could say grasping is like unconscious holding. Okay. Where someone has such a strong uh what would you call that? Not understanding, like a strong view. They have a strong view about something. And because of that strong view about that something, it doesn't matter. It seems like it's impossible to take them off that view because they they are only programmed in such a way to only validate it. Their their mind body complex, their senses are only set to validate that view to the point where they cannot hear anything else. Okay. And that is due to grasping, where the capacity to pause before you react is very, very weak within them. Okay. All right. And now, you probably definitely will not be able to go to the other 12. We're not even finished with this first 12. Uh, the, I'll just name the next ones, and at least you'll have the name of them, and then we have to continue again. Okay. So after grasping comes bhava. Uh, uh, the translation, unfortunately, the English translation doesn't help. It's becoming. Okay. Uh, the Tibetan word says sipa, which means exists to life, right? And this one is what is my teacher translate as mature karma. Remember the first one was immature karma? This one he translated as mature karma. Okay. So all those things that were set up before, now they're definitely uh, all the conditions. It's like a ball falling. It will hit the ground. There's no stopping it from hitting the ground unless somebody grabs it. But left on its own, it will definitely hit the ground. Okay. So it's bhava is like now you are in free fall. The grasping has become so automatic that the kind of reality that you will experience is definite. Okay, that's what this bhava or mature karma refers to. Okay, um, it's like the last stitch on something. Okay, the last stitch on something. That's it. Now the form that was building up is now reached its last stage before it turned out into the world. Okay. Um, if 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 what was coming to be was a kind of identity, a kind of I am this, I am that, you are this, you are that, a kind of a what do you call that? Like a crystallized identity. Okay. Uh, it has reached the point where all the energy, all the conditions for it to be are present. It's not quite there yet, but it's like there's no stopping it kind of thing. It's like it's the process, it's the part where it is about to be. Okay? About to be, becoming. That's why it's called becoming. Okay. And the next one after that is birth. Okay. That's it. Now, because of the misunderstanding because the potential experience that misunderstanding created, and because of the kind of mind and kind of awareness that you will have, because of the kind of body body mind potential, because of the body mind potential then creates how are you, what are the windows, how are you, what are you going to allow yourself to what will you allow yourself to perceive, to make contact with. Remember, all that is to perpetuate the misunderstanding. And eventually you have birth. And the birth is not just, you're born and now your parents are there, oh, I mean, so and so is born. That's one understanding of it, but it's not only that. It's the birth of anything that is sort of like brought into reality. Okay? Like the reaction that you're going to have, you have it. Like if the words were being, there's a misunderstanding, there's a kind of consciousness, da 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 da, and then you say something, the words, that's the birth. Okay? It's like you reach a point where the words are just going to come out, and they come out. Okay, so that's the birth. So it's not just you are born. It's not just you have a you have a birthday, so to speak. But anything that is brought into the realm of what you might call display, that is its birth. When we cling, that's the word, cling, when we cling onto a certain identity, I am such and such, I am not such and such, that is it, that is a birth. Okay, and that birth has its links of condition that made it part of, that make it something to experience as reality. Okay, and the very last one, because the very start of it was a misunderstanding, the ultimate expression of that is suffering. And that's what is referred to as the last one, aging and death. And the aging and death, let's look at it this way from a relation perspective. Because of a misunderstanding in the relationship, that created a whole cascade of potentials. You start to see certain things, you start to hear certain things to validate the misunderstanding. Then eventually, the you give birth to the identity. This person is such and such. I am such and such and such. And then because of that, then the relationship dies. There's no more relationship. Okay. Or what is given birth to is a dysfunctional relationship because it started with a misunderstanding. Okay. And birth, the death and dying, of course, is referring to actual physical aging, actual physical dying. And that is telling you that itself is connected to ignorance. And that's why the nirvanic state is called the deathless state. And the aging and dying is not just the physical aging, it's not just the physical dying, but mainly the psychological experience that is attached to that. The uh, the dysfunctional way of relating with this experience. Okay, it's not just the physical aging. It's not just a physical dying that is itself the suffering, but rather the dysfunctional way of relating with that. So the misunderstanding creates a condition where we will have a dysfunctional relationship with that part, where aging and dying seem to have a finality to them. Yeah. All right. So we've, in a very brief way, we've covered the 12 links that connected to the mundane. And remember, it's not just the 12 links of your birth, but the 12 links of any experience that is experienced. Understand it, it is itself witnessing a whole web of connections coming together. So, and when you keep that in mind, whenever you have an experience and it seems to be presenting itself to you as a unique, isolated phenomena that is imposing itself onto reality from outside of reality, go back to understand that what you're witnessing is an experience that has so many things connected to it. And when you're able to see that it has so many things connected to it, then the power it seems to have to overwhelming you, it no longer has that power. Because it seems to have the sense of overwhelming you because it holds on to the perspective that it's a one thing that is doing something. But when you notice that it's not one thing, it's a thing that depends, that needs so many other things for it to be. And if any of those things are misaligned, if any of those things are not present, then it will collapse. So in that sense, every experience is precious, every experience is fragile. And it's not just the bad experiences that are fragile, all experiences are fragile. And because they are fragile, because we understand that they are nothing but the coming together of conditions, then because they are fragile, like a relationship you have with someone is a fragile thing. Fragile in the sense that it requires so many components for that relationship that is an experience to continue to be a relationship. It's not a one thing. It's many things that are whole coming together, nourishing it, giving it the life of being a relationship. And when those things are not present, that thing that we experience as a relationship will die, will age, will disappear, will no longer be. But when we understand it to be a coming together of many things, then we have to, when we see the relationship is sort of like wobbly, sort of, then we can say, okay, what are the components that are being affected? Okay. Am I present? Because being present is part of the thing that we call a relationship. Am I being honest with myself in this? That's part of the relationship. Is there hesitation to be? And that's part of a relationship. Caring, concern, all these things are it's not just one thing that makes it. It's all those things together. And when you understand that, and especially when there is a promise of, when the relationship has a promise of great growth, and you feel something precious and something meaningful in it, then it's worth knowing it is a beautiful, complex, fragile, because it is not just one thing. It is the result of many things having come together. And that's what it is. That's what it will continue to be. You know, very, very bad example, but unfortunately, some people have that example. You meet, sparks, whatever the relationship is, and then all you unconsciously we bring those things together, right? And unfortunately, misunderstanding think that there's one thing that we are doing, there's one thing the person is doing that is creating the relationship, not seeing that it's a bunch of things that we are together, and they're together also putting together that creates this experience called the relationship. And whatever the relationship would be, could be romantic, parental, siblings, friends, whatever it may be, between me and myself. Okay. And when we think, oh, okay, it's you bring those things together and then boom, they create relationship. Okay, that's it. My job is done. Right? My job is done because the relationship has been created. It's something that's now existing by itself. It's a unique thing. All right. And then when the other person is complaining, wait a minute, you're not, this is something to nurture, for it to continue. So, but I already did it. I already did it. I already created it. I don't have to do any more things. Okay. So that's how and that's our life. That's reality. Reality is always uh, um, relating. It's always connection, spontaneous, continuous connection. It is not understanding this where we wish for it to be something else. And wishing for it to be something else creates suffering. What is suffering? Suffering is having uh, having a dysfunctional relationship with reality. Suffering is having a dysfunctional relationship with reality. All right. Sorry, we didn't get to I didn't think we were going to get to it anyway, but there's there's the 12 links of dependent origination called the transcendental dependent origination, where you start at the same place. Look at my condition. How did I get here? And you look at your condition again, you say, how do I get out of here? You always begin with what your immediate experience is. And that is your key to understanding the things connected to it. And then that is your key to understand the thing that can unravel it, if it is an unwanted experience. All right. Okay, I'll stop here because I've gone way far into what I'm supposed to do. If you have any questions, please ask, especially if you've read the 12 links before and then one of them wasn't quite clear. Maybe we can sort of together gain some sort of clarity.
I've got a question.
Yes.
I'm just going to like briefly give some context. I'm doing this residency, and the sort of main thing that's being promoted, that what the main thing that we're coming together to create work around is democracy, right? So it's sort of like pioneering and continuing this thing called democracy, which in a way is sort of being presented as an ultimate good.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I think thinking in terms of the 12 links, I wonder if it could be a form of like ignorance that, maybe we're being presented with this thing saying that, okay, promote this thing, democracy,
Mm-hmm.
without taking a step back and like asking a deeper question of like, is this the thing worth promoting?
Mm-hmm.
So my question is like in an instance like that, where someone comes at you with like a loaded statement, I feel like it's almost like being asked a question like, who lied to you? So
Mm-hmm.
when someone asks you that type of question, it's like there's the premise that you've been lied to loaded into the
Mm-hmm.
question. So like with this, like in this case, like being presented with this thing of like, oh, democracy, obviously a good thing. You know,
Mm-hmm.
who wouldn't want to promote democracy, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think
Yeah.
it goes into like, okay, how do you unravel? How do you begin to unravel that? Okay, maybe I don't want to promote democracy. Maybe that's not the
Mm-hmm.
thing to be
Mm-hmm.
promoted. How do you start making space for someone who's like already deeply steeped within the 12 links and start like making space to broaden the conversation beyond
Mm-hmm.
their ignorance without jarring them and making them go deeper into the ignorance that they're already in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. Um, so the 12 links, there are they're not something that you decide, okay, now I'm going to do the 12 links. It is the explanation of every experience. Whatever the experience, the 12 links are already there, right? So if you are in a condition where uh, where you could say as a society or as a group you're having an experience together, you have to understand that the 12 links, this you're witnessing the 12 links. There is there are things that came together to create. That's why this experience is being experienced, and there are things that I am doing that everyone is doing, who's having this experience. They are participating in the experience being what it is. Now, in terms of democracy, it depends on first asking what is your definition of democracy. There's a lot of words that are sort of loaded where people have different views as to what that term is supposed to mean. And so when someone presents you with something like that, then you have to ask them, okay, what do you mean by when you use that term? What are the conditions? What are the 12 links for you that when they come together, and it is democracy? And if you notice that, wait a minute, there are parts in there that you are presenting that creates what you call democracy, I would not call democracy, or I would not, if that's what democracy is, I would not want it. Okay. It's, and if democracy is a good thing, that means the components that come together bring about benefit in the end for those who are within it, for those who are participating in it. But if for some reason uh, what someone is calling democracy and what the components that they're bringing together and say, okay, now we have democracy, and benefiting it's not benefiting people. Maybe it's benefiting one person or two people or small minority. Then that person's definition of democracy is not something that you would want. So it's terms like that. I would say it depends on the person who's presenting it. What are their links for this outcome that they call democracy, and examine those different links that they're calling the necessary links for democracy. If it's, I mean, and there are great philosophers in ancient time and in present time who have an understanding of democracy, who are against it, the idea of democracy, and there are those who are for democracy, and then they present their understanding as to why, what are the links that they are seeing that creates this entity and sustains this entity called democracy. And some see, okay, because of that component, there's a danger for that component that is a necessary part for this end to sustain this entity called democracy. Because of that, I cannot vouch for it. I cannot support it. And but also what is the spirit behind the word? That's why, especially nowadays, when opinion seems to be what people value the most, where my opinion about what democracy is supposed to be makes me not even listen to what your opinion of what democracy should be. And where we become so self-centered in a way that we will adhere only to our own ideas. So become basically living in isolated universes that is not isolated, where we interact with each other. My understanding of democracy will definitely, if I end up putting it into place, is going to affect you, no matter what your understanding of democracy is supposed to be. Well, I'm thinking I am implementing what my idea of democracy is supposed to be. And with that, because this is the environment that we live in, no matter what people say, even it sounds like a very simple term that everyone should have a sort of like a universal understanding of it. We should sit down and, okay, what is your understanding of that term? What are your tendril? What are your dependent links that nurture, support, create this entity that you're using that term for? And you can see, for example, I'm concerned about this and that. It's a genuine concern. But I think this is connected to creating the problem. And you can look and the tendril, and you can say, is this really connected to this thing that you're concerned about? And yes, that concern that you have is genuine. You should have it. But let's see if, since you're really concerned about that, then you should be really concerned about the things that are creating it. And you are convinced this is the thing that is the main reason why this concern exists. Let's look at it. Not dismissing their concern, but take their concern as being genuine, and then sit and look. Let's look at this together. Is this really connected? Does this really has a connecting link to this specific entity that you are referring to, a concern that you have? I don't want I'm concerned about my family's safety. That's a wonderful thing to be safe to have about. But it's because of those people over there. Okay? Because the Tibetans, I don't know, I'm doing something very silly here, but I'm concerned about the safety of my family, which are very close to me. And I'm saying that it's because the Tibetans are praying on top of Mount Kailash. That has a connection to why my family is not. So that's very silly to say, but that person's concern about their family is should be honored. But and then say, let's really look into that. Let's let let's look at it. What are the things that are present? Because the thing itself will show you what's connected to it. And you can say, oh, there's nothing here about this experience that is connected to those Tibetans praying on Mount Kailash. I can let go of that now. I can stop spending energy trying to stop the Tibetans from praying on Mount Kailash. I can now redirect that energy towards the things that are actually connected to this experience. Sorry, I sort of. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Yes, we will continue with this topic and since we know how to get into samsara nicely, we have to learn how to get out of it nicely. So that's the next topic. And it has to do with, remember, reality is things coming together, nurturing each other. When that reality is suffering, the things coming together because of the kind of things that are coming together. And then for reality to be freeing, it will depend on certain things coming together. Certain things coming together is always the inevitable. Okay? That is the inevitable. You cannot, unfortunately, you already exist. Sorry, you cannot cease to exist. Sorry. You exist already, and there's nothing you can do to cease to exist. So you just have to deal with the fact that you exist. Do you want to exist in a suffering way, or do you want to exist in a blissful way? Those are your choices of how to exist. Okay? Yes.
Before we get into the next time with the transcendental,
Mm-hmm.
could we get a recording of this with the mundane? Because I think
Oh,
that would be
yes.
helpful.
Oh, yes. Yes. I'll make sure that it's available, and then, yeah, I'll make sure if it's available, and yeah. Okay. All right. All right. Thank you.
Thank you so much. When will the teaching of the transcendental be?
In 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks.
In
Perfect.
2 weeks. Yeah. So you have time to marinate this one
Great.
and come up with some questions.
Perfect.
Okay. All right. I had this experience in my life with my whatever. I don't see the tendril in there. I don't see the dependent origination in that.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, let's come to a close. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Mhm. All right. So, whatever understanding you're able to get now, immediately, turn to that intelligence potential within you and express gratitude. The inner teacher, the inner guide, the inner potential. So, first, tell yourself you're going into meditation. Feel the body responding. Let it respond. Let it guide. Feel the mind responding. Feel the breath responding. Feel the energy responding. Let them guide. Remember being in meditation, and that mere recalling, you begin to re-experience it in the body, in the breath, in the mind, and go in the center of that. Take a nice deep breath to stabilize it, gently, fully, through the nose, breathe in. And release. And as you release, just let yourself go into that state. Let yourself melt into that state. Let yourself become that state. And at the end of the exhalation, just stay there. Notice the signs, the calm, the pleasantness, the clarity, the radiance, the collected attention. To whatever degree that they're there, rejoice. And we end the meditation always. Now see everyone sitting exactly where you are in a circle. No matter how small the space is, we all fit comfortably without shrinking or expanding. And we think of me and its complexity. And that me can expand. And as we begin to consider each other the same way the left hand considers the right hand, that's me. And we are ready to respond if what is called other needs something, as though I need something. In a sense of presence begins to form in the center of the circle. And as that sense of me-ness expands beyond this skin, ideas and thoughts, this mind-body complex, this sense complex, this consciousness complex, this potential karma complex, and expands to the web of reality itself. And we feel our sense of presence as that brightness filling all of reality. And we don't need the water to become light in order for us to appreciate it and feel one with it. Water needs help, that's me needs help. The ocean needs help, that's me needs help. The sky needs help, that's me needs help. The mountains, the different flying animals, the different life forms, that's me need help. Now that sense is crystallized, we don't need the appearance of a big light bulb anymore. So it begins to shrink. And as it shrinks, it leaves it like a shine and everything else, making us feel connected. And in the very center is that brightness again, presence. And because we now have this conviction, when I sincerely help myself, I sincerely help us. When I sincerely help us, I sincerely help myself. And that bright presence splits into rays of light entering each one of our hearts, and we dwell with that understanding. And whatever understanding we gain immediately tonight, express gratitude to the source of that, our own capacity to understand. And it will continue to unfold like a flower blooming slowly. More understandings will come. Let space allow for the more understanding to flower. And for those that we care for, that we hold immediately in compassion and love, we dedicate the merits of this meeting to their welfare and well-being. Now we're ready to go meet the world with the understanding shaping us, helping us shape reality. Take a nice deep breath. Hold and release. And as we release, deliberately reconnect with your immediate surroundings through the sense of touch. Feel the temperature, feel your clothing, feel your seat. Sense of hearing, hear the different sounds, close, far. And let your eyes take in light, noticing colors, shapes, lights, and shadows. Okay. Thank you very much.